If there's no way out, if you're immobilized, if you cannot fight, you cannot run, you can end in freeze. Both the sympathetic nervous system, the speeder, and the parasympathetic system, the brake, is working overtime, causing a collapse in your system. Standing on the brake and on the speeder at the same time. A hormone called vasopressin is released, which will make our pulse drop to under 30. So imagine you're going from 180 to 30, and you will be dissociated in a frozen state. Other hormones are released as well that kills pain and solidified wounds. So this is our body last defense system, our last defense mechanism, our body. Our body is like a zombie and will look dead for an animal or another threat.
This time, Duma has killed a good-sized female impala. Unfortunately, in the savannah, one's own gratification often stimulates another's envy. Duma's catch, which has been observed from start to finish, has not left Mama Kingua, the spotted hyena, indifferent. She knows that Duma is completely extenuated by her final sprint. And yet, things may not finish as we thought they would, for sometimes the weak are capable of cunning dissimulation.
Hope you enjoyed this little clip. I think there's several things to take from this. Number one, there's always or sometimes a bigger predator than you. That's one of it. And the fun thing is how this, this little window that appears, how this deer just jumps off. So it's not dead, it's in a frozen state. What we will look at now is about how to balance a system when you have been that far out. A frozen state is serious. And I will show you now another clip. This is from a polar bear. And what you see here is this shaking process that comes afterwards. The releasing of the muscles, the lungs, how it works. We have some of the paramedics, not so much more, but in all the times when people were going like in shocks, if they were shaking, they were giving all kind of stuff to be calm. Actually, it's very important to shake to get the system in balance. The animals do it, and we should do it also.
If you watch that animal after he finishes convulsing, you'll see, because he's aware of the fact that we're all around him, and it's a very stressful experience for an animal like a polar bear. After he settles down, and then he'll start doing a couple of deep breaths, and then he'll breathe really nicely, and it'll really... Now, look, here he goes. See how he's breathing there now? You can see, so that even though it looks a little unpleasant to look at him convulsing like that, in fact, it lets off all that stress, and he then is able to relax and sleep the thing off.
In simulation and scenarios, there will be adrenaline present, and we always have two stages. We have the before, the pre-fight. We have the incident, the in-fight, so to speak, and we have the escape, the post-fight. It's important to finish, to have dealt with the problem, the threat, to have escaped properly. The last bit about running is also important. It has a function, not only getting off the X, but also to feel that you have prevailed, you have succeeded, and to balance the systems. So using this good cocktail of adrenaline, running, just like running 10 meters is a difference. So this is why we often do it when we have the scenarios. We have the before, the in-fight, and the post-fight. We have everything connected, and prevailing in training is important. And that's why we do that every time we have the simulation as well, that we also do running. It's important to burn out these chemicals we have in our body. The good thing about this is that the students get familiar with the feelings that he or she can prevail, so that they will have a success. But we will always start with simple problems and then we'll make them more difficult. In that way, we are increasing our window of tolerance, so that, you know, there will still be a sympathetic line going up and a parasympathetic process at the end, but our window is getting bigger. So we're not like in a frozen state, we're not panicking. We have a bigger window, a higher resiliency to being in a conflict. The same we saw before, but now you can see that our system is, we have the normal system as we talked about, but now we have an incident. And now our systems start to like going more in lines, and we go out of our window. So we can get stuck in high, which is called hyper, or we can get stuck in the low part, which is called hypo. And this is two different states. This is what everybody has heard about. If we are stuck in those systems, soldiers who have suffered from PTSD can often be helped with dissolving their systems, but a system that's stuck high or low needs help. And now I shall recap what we've been going through in this module. I'll just recap on everything quite quickly. Our system is regulated by the nervous system, areas in the brain, and our hormone system. Our brain is developed in sections. We have the reptile brain, the limbic brain, midbrain, and the cognitive brain, neocortex. In stress, the body rearranges its resources, so the cognitive brain is not available. That's why we are gross motor. Here, the nervous system takes over. The sympathetic branch is the speeder, the parasympathetic part is the brake. We need both systems. In an incident, the sympathetic system is dominant and the body is being made ready for fight or for flight. If we prevail, all is good, and the parasympathetic system will take over now and make us calm. If we get immobilized in fear, we might end up in code black. Vasopressin takes over, this hormone that will go into a state of freeze, low pulse. From here, all is good if there's an opening for fight or flight. If there's not, there will be a trauma, an unbalance in the nervous system that has to be solved. First aid part, be there, be present, help reorientate with all the senses.